Too Many Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That P. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats podcast.
Top of the morning to you, my good people. Happy Monday morning. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, man. It's your host with the most, Tony Mays, Lavelle Salter. What it do, my guy?
What it do, man? Y'all back in the country, not in the city. Y'all back in the country.
In the country.
Man,
we had a blast, bro.
The way y'all been going.
I tell you, we had a blast. I have no regrets. Even though I'm tired, I have no regrets. None whatsoever. None. I do want to start this off by, I don't want to start the show off negative. So I'm gonna start off in a positive light first. I don't want to start off. Now, I was finna start off negative. I'm gonna start off positive. So I'm gonna start off giving a shout. Shout out this 26-year-old Tyra Ivory from Macon, Mississippi, man, became one of the youngest Subway franchisees in the U.S., proving that the tours can lead to destiny. After being rejected from dental school, she pivoted toward entrepreneurship and turned a setback into a major milestone. 29 years old now, man. Shout out to her, man. Doing big things in Mississippi, Macon. I ain't never heard of Macon, Mississippi.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of it. But apparently it is a place.
Yep. One of those cities you'll drive right through.
Man, what? Pass right by and don't even know you in that junk.
Yeah.
It's a lot of little cities like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't be careful, you will pass right by them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now I did that. I want to do this. This right here, bro. We got to do better, bro. We got to do better. We got to do better. A Wendy's manager. I don't even know where y'all be coming up with this stuff. A Wendy's manager created a whole fake employee. I'm talking about she logged 128 shifts for somebody who didn't even exist. And she got away with it for almost a year before they did an audit on her and caught her.
Wow.
Now, this is the sad part. A whole over a year almost before she got away with it, and only got $20,000. You risk your career, everything.
I mean, I'm not giving her no a scapegoat, but hell, if the United States would just raise the damn minimum wage, God dog.
Well, I know they supposed to be raising it in, I think, 22 states or something like that. Good. What up, Zoe? They supposed to be raising minimum wage, but what's the use of raising minimum wage if stuff is still skyrocketing and
Oh yeah, it's still jacked up the way it goes.
So if you ain't finna raise it to where minimum wage is about $25-$30 an hour, you defeating the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna
the highest I seen was in I hadn't did a study in a while, but I think the highest minimum wage I seen was in Australia. I think it's like $17.25 an hour. Minimum wage.
Well, I know the city we went to a minimum. I think a minimum of $15 an hour for any employee part time. I don't know if that applies to part timers though. But most of our part-timers do, because I got rid of all of our position that's paid anything under 15, because I was like, that's ridiculous. 15.
We have to do some research on that and do a show on it, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
but man, look, man, if you're gonna risk it all, don't 20,000 is not enough to risk it all. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, in her case, depending on how much money she's making in her lifestyle, I mean, that little bit of money was
20,000 though, bro.
I'm just saying.
Come on. And that's probably before taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense, bro. And I got one more little thing, man, add a little humor before we jump into today's show, man. And we're gonna basically talk about, man, can hard conversations expose a person's real love? Got this for y'all today.
Hi, Lavelle. Here go the GGs. What's your name? Blanche. Dorothy.
Sophia. I don't know.
Rose.
I don't know. I don't know.
The golden girl. Thank you for being a friend.
Whoa, and if you threw a party, and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest figure be from me. And the card text will say, thank you for being a friend.
Horrible. Hi, Lavelle. Here go the GGs. What's your name?
Out of it. Lavelle to get a kick out of that this morning. Hey, I have to report. We came back with 0 casualties other than my head. 0, not casualties, but 0 incidents.
Yeah, that's good.
0 GG incidents.
I thought you said she didn't hurt herself when she fell over the suitcase. Sure.
No, she just stumbled. She ain't fall, but if she had a fail, bro, we was outside the airport getting ready to go in the airport. We was getting ready to fly to, I want to say we was getting ready to fly out to somewhere or something. I don't know. But she almost fell, tripped over it. Now, y'all didn't do that.
Yeah, baby.
Y'all did not do that. So he did that now. Y'all did not. All right, let's jump on into this show, man. Can hard conversations expose a person's real love? Do hard conversations reveal real love? Hard conversations don't automatically prove love. Let me just get that on out the way.
Yeah.
They don't. They reveal the structure, depth, and capacity of love.
Mm-hmm.
And they act as emotional stress tests. So when you start talking about hard conversations, this is one of these conversations, a topic, Lavelle, it can venture off into so many other different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
did you want to play the video first to get the more context to it?
Well, before you do, I just want to just kind of say that, because when you think about having hard conversations, that can be just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And which means it would leave so many different doors open. And so I guess when you really think about having hard, I think this is why people don't like to have them, because they could take you down so many different roads.
Oh yeah.
And some people avoid these hard conversations for a lot of different reasons. We'll see today, you know, how why people kind of avoid conversations and what it do to people and all of that. But so yeah, go ahead on and play the video now. But I just wanted to kind of premise this whole thing by saying that, you know, this could really go a whole bunch of different directions.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's why I shared it with you. Here we go.
And Jay,
if you love someone and they say they love you, a hard conversation
should bring you closer together. A hard conversation should not push you away from each other. If you're scared to have a hard conversation with someone you love, that means you're not that close. Instead of judging people by their actions, judge them by their intentions, and judge yourself by your actions, not your intentions. Oh, think about all the stupid things you've said, you've done, and got wrong. And all of a sudden, you start to recognize, wait a minute, if someone judged me for that, I'd feel pretty bad about it. That doesn't define me. That's not who I am. And all of a sudden, when you have that reflection, it flips the entire statement. Wait a minute, that can't be who I am, and that's not who they are.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So when you look at having hard conversations, it really should expose a person's real love for you,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily. It don't automatically prove the love, but
Right.
it should reveal the kind of love that they have for you. Hard conversations shouldn't really be that hard,
Mm-hmm.
but I think because some of the conversations may lead to hurt and other things, we just, we'll just forego. I just say I'm not gonna have that conversation with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the travesty in it, that we say we love them enough, but we don't want to have that conversation. And then when we don't have that conversation and the information or whatever is exposed by somebody else later on, imagine the hurt that causes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I shared, well, I don't even know if I even shared this or not, but before we left and went out of the country, we went down and visited someone, a family member that is dealing with cancer. And
Good morning, everyone.
yeah, good morning, y'all. And in dealing with and going down there talking to that person, I discovered that person had not even shared what was going on with them with their children. And I said, come on, man, you got to share this.
Mm.
I'm like, what if this tomorrow is not promised to none of us, but in your situation, you really need to have a conversation. But that was, and the person told me that it was just a very hard conversation to have, and they didn't know how to approach it or didn't know what to say.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said, I understand. Good morning, Clarence. Good morning, Pastor Fluke. These could be very hard conversations, but if you love a person, you should want to have these conversations.
I think the love loving the person makes it even harder.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
and I think because it, like I said, because it can go so many different ways in so many different areas, we avoid those hard conversations because we don't want to hurt somebody's feeling. We don't want them to look at us as a certain light or whatever. But ultimately, if we don't share or have the hard conversations, and then they hear or somebody else have that conversation with them, and they's like, well, why that person couldn't come to me? Now they really hurt by it.
Mm-hmm.
So love versus comfort. And we already know, if you want to be comfortable, you're going to avoid conflict so you can maintain the ease. That's what I'm saying. You just don't want to have that conversation. It's comfortable for you, more comfortable for you to not have that conversation. So you're going to avoid the conflict.
Right.
Love prioritizes the truth, honesty, and long-term help. Love is willing to walk through discomfort together. I keep going back to Boris, man, when he said this. If you my person, and I'm your person, we can go through it together, whatever it is. Win together, lose together, hurt together. We're going to do it together.
Mm-hmm.
So love is willing to walk through discomfort together. So even that hard conversation is going to bring a level of discomfort that's not going to be comfortable for me or you. I still should have that hard conversation.
Yeah. I agree.
Is it just that easy though?
No.
No. I mean, I would be foolish to sit here and think that just having a hard conversation comes to with ease. I was talking to a manager, one of my managers one time, and she said, I just don't like having these conversations, these discipline type conversations. And I'm like, but it's part of your job. She said, I understand that, but it's just hard for me to have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of told her the same thing. It's like, if you really care about that employee, like you say, you would have this conversation because you don't want them to keep doing the same thing to putting their job in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Fluker says, I believe the conversations verify what's already known. We're spiritual beings and we know when there is a disconnection. Ms. Gwen said, I think not wanting to hurt cause your loved ones to worry or fear are probably the number one reasons not to have hard conversations. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you love the person, love is willing to walk through the discomfort, with that person together, regardless of what kind of, relationship you have with that person, if you love them.
Right.
Then you think about the emotional safety, right? Hard conversations reveal love only when emotional safety exists.
That's interesting.
Hard conversations reveal love only when emotional safety exists. Both people can speak without punishment. So I think like if you're just if you're having to have a hard conversation with somebody, bad news or maybe something, just say, I did something inappropriate with another lady. And I felt bad about it. Like it didn't go to the extreme, but I did something.
Okay.
And I felt really bad about it. And I felt like, man, I need to have this conversation with Monica. That's a hard conversation, bro. Right?
Right.
And I'm thinking, if I tell her this, it ain't going without punishment. But what this is saying, both people should be able to speak without punishment. But I already know there's going to be there's going to be some kind of, comeback depending on how that message is conveyed and received.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is not weaponized. Now, I do, especially if this is a hard conversation where you have to be vulnerable in an instance, whether it's with your partner, a co-worker, family member, whatever. Sometimes we don't want to have these conversations for fear that vulnerability will be weaponized.
Right.
That they will turn that vulnerability back on or use it against us at a later date. And that is self, Ms. Gwen. That can bring a whole lot of fear and worry. I really want to share this with Lavelle. But man, Lavelle might throw this crap right back up in my face, man. And me and most of them have been taught it's a weakness to share. Yep. We had a whole show almost on that one time, just talking about fast food. And that's true. So especially as when you start talking about vulnerability, what man wants to be vulnerable or transparent to another person when they know that they may turn around and use that vulnerability against them? That's hard, bro. That's hard. Respect remains even during disagreement.
It should anyway.
I definitely say it should.
Yeah.
And if you love a person, it definitely should. just because we're having a hard conversation about whatever it is, doesn't mean all respect goes out the window. Like we talking to each other in any kind of way. We still have to maintain that respect, even during the disagreement or whatever is going down. Ms. Gwen said, holding grudges and refusing to let go is real. I forgive, but don't forget often brings it back up. See, to me, I think if you gonna forgive somebody, you should forget it. Now, that's easier said than done.
Right.
But if you tell me, Tony, I forgive you for what you did to me, but every time you turn around, you throwing it back up in my face, you truly didn't forgive me. And that's gonna make the relationship dissipate even more, or just destroy. It won't even take that process of dissipation. It just destroy right off the rip.
Well, one of the things I love about the gentleman in the video, what he did was he turned it around so you can have some accountability about your actions and literally put yourself in that person's shoes who you're having that conversation with. And the majority of the time, 75 to 85%, whoever you're having that disagreement with, they're not going to do that. It's all about what I am, who I'm going through. It's a selfish situation.
Lavelle, if we did that with a lot of conversations, where we know where somebody took something maybe we said out of context, and they but that's not who I am. And think about how many times we didn't blame other folk for the same thing.
True that.
So when he said it, it made sense to me because we often do it. We'll say, "Oh, well, no, that's not who I am." Don't and then, but yet somebody else do the same thing, and you say, "Yeah, they gonna sooner or later they gonna show you who they truly are." We say that now.
And there's another term that can go along with this emotional safety. I think I will also go with emotional avoidance, because I can say for myself personally, that's where I be, because I ain't saying that I'm right. It ain't about me being right. It's about the situation or whatever we're dealing with. And I ain't saying that you're wrong or I'm right. I'm just saying that we need to deal with the situation. But majority of the time, what I do, I just avoid it altogether. And because that person gonna be like, well, why I got to be about you? It ain't about me. It's about the situation itself. I ain't trying to be right. I'm just saying what we're dealing with is what this is. And if you can't accept it, then we have a problem.
Well, I think that's a closed-minded person that sees every opportunity to have a discussion as, well, you just, come on, man. No.
Yeah.
We need to have a conversation. This transpired. You may see it not like a big deal, and it personally affects me, or it may not personally affect me, but it happened and we need to deal with it so we can move on from it. Because I don't want any ill feelings to be, people, we say stuff and I don't bother, but we harboring all this, this bad intent, and all this stuff. Fluka says Samson taught every man not to reveal his vulnerabilities, but that wasn't a lesson. But you would be amazed of how that example is taught to men.
What you mean as far as like the Samson and Delilah story, so to speak?
Yeah. How him sharing, him being vulnerable with Delilah and sharing his weakness and all that stuff. And so that story has been taught down through the eons, maybe in a light that maybe shouldn't have been, but this was the thing. Samson's love for Delilah was so great that he was willing to share any even risk emotional vulnerability and his emotional safety. Men, for the most part, are not confrontational unless he's emotionally unstable. I guess what he's saying.
Right. That's
That's
just one
Leo's
piece.
favorite word. Accountability. Accountability is a rare but powerful signal of love.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we do stuff and we know we wrong, I heard a dude on the show. He said, this was one of the most unique things I ever heard. He said, the girl was asking him. She said, so what happens is, when you and your wife argue? He said, me and my wife have never had an argument.
Mm-hmm.
She said, y'all ain't never had an argument? He said, we ain't never had an argument.
Mm-hmm.
She said, why is that? He said, because my wife lets me be wrong until I realize I'm wrong and come back and say something.
That's a
He said, even in situations when I'm dead wrong and I might not know it, she gives me that time and space and just let it ride. And then till I recognize, man, I was wrong. Baby, in that little situation, I was dead wrong. I apologize. But he said she gives him that space.
Does that have, I guess, given space, but is that a term? Is that a word? Is that an art? What is that?
Man, I ain't never heard it before. So I don't know what their relationship was when they were dating or whatever, but clearly he set some expectation, or either she saw something in him that says, oh, I see what he's doing. Oh, if he wrong, he gonna come back and tell me. So let me just let it ride.
That's healthy though. But I guess I don't know.
But it was women. It was other women on there. She must be correct. In that same space saying, nah, I don't know how that. Those are the and this dude's like, oh, we've been married for 20-some years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the women that say, ain't even got a man.
I'm sure she saw something in her childhood or growing up that taught her that to move in that manner.
I don't know if she did, or because they didn't get that deep into it. I don't know if that was something
using my imagination
in her childhood, or something he groomed her for.
Yeah.
She could have just been a non-confrontational person herself, and then smart person sit back, observe, and say, oh, I see what's up. Let me play my role. I don't know. Ms. Gwen said being able to freely have hard conversations is dependent on dynamics of the relationship. Speaking from experience in all relationships, one doesn't have the luxury of hard conversations without there being consequences. And yes, that's not a healthy relationship. But accountability is rare, but a powerful signal of love. It includes acknowledging harm without defensiveness.
I think that's what she did. And what you just explained, that's what she did. And she just gave it time to do what it's supposed to do.
Because she know he gonna come around and realize he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If in fact he was wrong.
Right.
So, and I think she what she did was gave him an opportunity to be accountable. Instead of just right off the rip, just going at him.
That's called grace.
Causing a whole lot of issues. Let me give him some time to think about it and hold his own self accountable.
Yeah, that's called grace. I would call it.
Yeah. It includes acknowledging harm without defensiveness.
That's
She
real.
may have said, hey, babe, but okay, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she meant, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Or she just let him do what he do. And then he gonna think about it. He gonna come back. He always do.
I don't like it in this term. What's that old saying? You say you give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves.
Focus shifts from ego to repair and growth. Listen to that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like
listen to that.
Because the ego go both ways, man.
Yeah. a lot of time we think that it's just men with the egos, but you know, you got some women that's egotistical too.
Right.
And when I heard the guy say this though, Lavelle, and I said, man, and I immediately thought about, man, what kind of woman he got, you know? And I thought about her submissiveness. I thought, I mean, Proverbs 31 clicked in my mind. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff I'm thinking about, I'm like, and then, you know, I've said this before. Women have way more power than they really let on. They even know. They got way more power. But a lot of them don't exercise it because they too busy trying to be combative as opposed to being submissive. Like, this ain't no, me and you ain't in no contest.
Right.
We ain't competing. This woman told a dude on that Pop the Balloon show. She told a dude, a lot of men can't deal with me. A lot of men can't deal with me because I'm she said, I have way more masculine energy and blah blah blah. I'm this and that.
Yeah, alpha female.
That's what she said. I'm an alpha female and I'm alpha this, alpha that. Dude didn't say nothing. He went on. She said, now you got to pop 3 people balloon. He was like, he went straight to her. Pop! No, I mean, no question. Why did you pop a balloon? He said, man, everything she said was everything I'm against.
Yep.
You know, so when you start thinking about accountability, the focus shifts from ego to repair and growth. You're not trying to be egotistical in whatever that situation is. You just want to be accountable. You want the relationship to grow. You want to repair the relationship if it needs repairing, and you want to grow. And I think that's what hard conversations. That's why hard conversations expose the real love that a person has for you. Because I'm willing to drop my ego to focus on the relationship for it to be repaired and to grow.
Yeah.
But I just love this number 2, boy. The acknowledging with acknowledging harm without defensiveness.
Yeah, I love that one.
Man. Repair matters more than conflict. Unless you are a very toxic person.
Yeah.
If you're a very toxic person, you don't care 2 iotas about repairing. You want the conflict. Bring me some conflict. What they say? I'm ready for it today. Bring it on.
Right.
Just like you give it, I'm ready to give it back. Look, I don't know any relationship. I don't think I've ever, even if it on the surface appears like it's the best relationship ever, I don't think that there's any relationship out here that they haven't ever experienced some type of conflict.
Oh yeah. Sometimes conflict is healthy though.
Some type of conflict. But it's not the conflict that matters. It's what happens after the conflict.
Right.
That's what matters. You got the conflict. Okay. Conflict has come. It has entered our relationship. However it has. Howbeit. It came in and infiltrated.
Right.
The conflict is there. So how do we handle the conflict? How do we deal with it? Is what matters. Repair includes follow-ups, change. A lot of us don't want to do this. We don't want to change. Who I was when you started dating me. You knew who I was Hey, I was like this when you got this job. I was already here doing this. That's the way it is. Ms. Gwen said acknowledgement then accountability are great first steps. It's difficult to move forward when one is still in denial. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But repair includes follow-ups, some change, and restored warmth. Now, I ain't talking about drinking on and getting warm. I'm talking about warmth in your approachability and how you approach and how you deal with people. Warmth.
Yeah, I got you.
It's a cold world out here.
Don't know what to say.
It's a cold game out here.
Mm-hmm.
If I've learned nothing else through my travels, I've learned that life is short. Life is what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
When you go and see how other people live and how other people enjoy life, live life, and I'm talking about, I think I don't know if I was talking to you or Clarence. I was walking down the streets in Vietnam. I was walking and I said, man, I don't seem like nobody work here. Everybody on the side of the road, just like doing their little thing, cheating, eating rice together. No, man, I ain't seen an argument, nobody fussing, cussing, nothing. These people be literally about to run over each other with them mopeds, them 7-9 million mopeds, how many of it is?
Be a lot of them.
And ain't nobody flipping nobody off in traffic. I'm sitting there, man, in the front seat, about to push my right foot through the floorboard trying to stop, man. I'm like, ooh, these people, boy. In front of you, I mean, ain't nobody cussing nobody out, flipping nobody off. Man, that stuff don't matter to them folk, man.
Yeah.
They like, well, this is life. We got to deal with it. We realize that these streets are overcrowded with all these 9 million mopeds. We just got to do what we do.
Yeah.
And try to avoid the accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Gwen said, I would add working towards rebuild trust to point 3. Yep.
Mm.
Uh-oh. Capacity versus intention. Someone may love you, but lack the emotional capacity to truly, really have a hard conversation or to receive the information in a hard conversation. So sometimes it ain't about the intention of the intent on having a conversation. It's the capacity to or lack of capacity to even deal with, the whole thing. And I think too, that goes back again to what Ms. Gwen said about the fear of having these hard conversations. And sometimes it's just the lack of capacity or the emotional capacity to be able to deal with it.
I guess what we'll put up, I guess, I know I was just listening yesterday. A lot of people don't really think about this, but there's a little Tony that still lives in the big Tony. Just use that for its, terms. And I think a lot of times folks don't deal with their inner child, the brokenness, the trauma, the hurt, and they walk around basically like with a what's that term? Walking around with something on their sleeve. It's like everybody doing something to them, and what I'm saying, and don't really go do the real work and try to get the real help. Right. I'm not saying, that I'm, not sympathetic with them or whatever, by not having the capacity to do so. But when do you get there? You know what I'm saying? How do you work on it?
I'm gonna let him answer this for you.
Again, Jay.
If you love someone and they say they love you, a hard conversation should bring you closer together. A hard conversation should not push you away from each other. If you're scared to have a hard conversation with someone you love, that means you're not that close. Instead of judging people by their actions, judge them by their intentions, and judge yourself by your actions, not your intentions. Oh, think about all the stuff
Mm-hmm.
You just answered it for you.
you've said.
Just answered it for you.
I get it. Mm-hmm.
We gotta quit judging people because we haven't looked at our actions, what we've done. And when you do look at it, you be like, well, I ain't really mean that. But then, okay, well, that person probably didn't mean that either.
True that.
Someone may love you, but they lack the emotional capacity to deal with a hard conversation. Hard conversations reveal limits, not just feelings. I'm telling you, man.
Wow.
It'll reveal what a person's limitations really are. How far you willing to go, how far you willing to deal with stuff. Not just feelings. And I think this is probably something that could have been said at the beginning of the slide presentation. Love must be practiced, not just felt. I see why they put it here when you start talking about the emotional capacity and revealing limits on hard conversations and feelings. And that's why they put it there. But it should have been a precursor to the entire slide.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, absolutely, their childhood or life experience trauma keeps us stuck in an emotional chokehold. Wow. Until acknowledged or healed, the emotional capacity is just not there.
Right.
And you can see it. Ms. Gwen, as an educator, she was an educator for a number of years. So I'm pretty sure as an educator that you notice a lot of kids, a lot of children coming in and out of these classrooms that lack the emotional capacity to even deal with their peers and even, you know, so I could see, you know, how a teacher could see that in young folk. And then you can witness like through their actions, like childhood trauma, some of the trauma that they've been through, maybe experience, how standoffish they are, how they move. You know, educators probably see a lot of stuff. And I think that would be hard for me as an educator to witness a lot of stuff and then have to take that home and say, it wasn't nothing I could really do because, you know, I can have some conversations, I could talk, but, you know, if the kids are not willing to share, then you see what I'm saying? You see it and you don't want to just be diagnosing every child you see. You having this and you having this. But some stuff is just revealed to you.
Right.
And I know as an educator, you saw a lot of that. So when hard conversations are a warning. When hard conversations are a warning. You initiate every serious talk. I don't even know how that would work. Like if I'm initiating every serious conversation we have, you're either not that invested in the relationship or you're dealing with more trauma than I really know.
Yeah. What do you think that really means, though? When you say, I know what initiates means, but is it saying that?
So every time there's a hard conversation or probably any conversation to be had, you're the one that initiate. You're the one that say, "Hey, you go to that person or that coworker or that family member and initiate that conversation." every time, that serious talk.
Only when the hard conversations are a warning.
No, well, this is just telling you when they are warning. It's just kind of giving you some warning signs. When you initiate, that's a warning. You know, if you're initiating it every time, then that's a warning. Like, you got to pay attention to that. Like, what's really going on.
If you're the one always doing so,
yeah, you feel smaller or unsafe afterwards. She said, yes, I did. Tough feeling like we couldn't help or get through to the children, especially when they were still in the midst of it. Yeah, I knew that had to be hard. If I have every time we have a conversation or a serious talk, a hard conversation, I feel really small afterwards or unsafe. Yeah. You might not need to be in that relationship.
Yeah.
If the honesty leads to backlash, yeah. Or if you're having these conversations, these hard conversations, and nothing ever changes over time.
Yeah.
It might be time to just move on. Here's the quiet truth. Real love says, you matter enough for me to stay present when this is hard.
That's powerful. So
regardless of how I feel like maybe this hard conversation or this hard serious talk, what the outcome of it be, I love you enough and you matter enough to me for me to stay present when it's hard for me.
Just like you said, what's his name? Bori Cujo said, I'm your person. I'm your person. Period.
When I tell you that just resonated with me. If I'm your person, I'm your person. You my person. You my person. You hurt. I hurt.
Well, in a marriage situation, I mean, this kind of like with the
in a friendship, Lavelle, you my guy. If you hurt, I hurt.
Right.
If you're going through, I'm going through.
Right.
It's relational, bro.
Right.
It does not necessarily have to be in where I'm husband or wife or dating. Co-worker. Sometimes our co-workers become an extension of our family because we spend so much time doing the day with them.
Yeah.
We know about their kids, their mama, all the illness, everybody going through it. We know about everything. And sometimes when we have those close work relationships, when they hurt, we hurt.
Yeah.
They going through, man, I can tell you right now, I have a close team at work. We have a very, very close team. And when one of them is hurting, the down, parent loss, I've had two. I'm trying to think two. Yeah, two that have lost parents since we've been working together. Several that lost brothers, cousins, and man, when they hurt, bro, I hurt. And I make sure I tell them, you take all the time you need. Don't worry about nothing.
Right.
And they, because I don't want them to think about when you're going through a period like that. I don't want you to think about work.
Right.
And whether or not you're going to have a job when you get back. You most certainly are, if I got anything to say about it.
That reminds me of a time, man, when my grandmother passed. And the gentleman that was my manager at the time at Cash America, man, that man said, man, you can take off how much time you need. And I still got paid.
Yeah. That's what I do.
When it be stuff like that, bro, you remember God rest his soul. I was very indebted to that.
But what did I always tell you guys? I got it from Robert. People don't care how much you know. They
They
want to
know
know
what you
how much you care.
One of my favorite ones. And then two people don't quit job, they quit people.
Yeah. They don't quit job, they quit people.
Yep.
Because if you ever stick to the bottom line, get to the bottom line of why a person quit a job, when you start listening, what do they say? It's about the people. It wasn't about the job.
Yep.
They could do the job without it. It was the people.
That's why they say, you know, you got to be careful when you create those hostile environments.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Gwen said that is often the problem. We determine or think that the person is our person, but they really aren't. We make decisions on feelings, but feelings and circumstances change.
Ooh, you talking to me? You talking to me? This oh wow!
If my person is my person, they my person, and I'm not gonna. Maybe I'm reading that wrong.
I think she's also talking about the other party in the, in the situation. You know how they move in it. If I'm thinking what she's saying.
Okay.
Am I reading you right, Ms. Gwen?
Yeah, because if you my person, you my person.
Right.
And I'm not using that term loosely because you've already shown me that you my person too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm your person.
Irregardless of the pitfalls and the ins and outs, it is what it is.
See, Lavelle and I had disagreements over the 20-some years. We've had disagreement, we've had upsets, but that that didn't send us to the hill running, with our tails tucked between our legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I say he my guy, he my guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like I've earned that to be called his guy. Not that we not from a homosexual type thing or none of that.
Well, definitely. Yeah.
Sometimes love is real, but not sufficient.
Yeah, I keep looking at that one, Doc. That's powerful.
Sometimes the love is real, but it's not sufficient. It's not enough.
And what was so baffling to me when this video came up, I was dealing with a situation with somebody that I know, and it seemed like it always happened like that when it's kind of like very like it's a teachable moment,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And like just going with this particular subject, and thank you for going with it. You know what I'm saying? It kind of it redirects my thought process because I in my inner self sometimes I be really want to say, excuse my term, fuck you. That's just where I want to be.
Wow. and sometimes, people's attitude and the way they handle things will make you say that. You know what I'm saying? You might not physically come out and say it, but in the back of your mind, you think it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man,
I'm always open for redirection. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how. That's why I don't like to get upset. That's why I don't like confrontation, because I know in my inner core, I got something that I don't like to even go there with because I don't know where that is. You know what I'm saying? So I try to leave that dormant.
Ms. Gwen said, yes, sometimes we overlook the warnings and red flags because we just want relationships. We stay too long, a job, in a partnership, church for the okay. I want to make sure. When we started thinking about these hard conversations and how we navigate through them, and I see both sides of the spectrum. I see where this could be really challenging for some people. But at the same time, I also think about the consequences of not sharing and then it being heard or somebody else share the information. How that look. Zoe say, if you my person, we ride or die, relationship or friendship. And that's kind of how I think the older I got, especially to be honest with you, through the last couple of years of doing this podcast, last year and a half or whatever, doing this podcast, I've grown and matured more. And my mind is open more to you know, where I was closed-minded about a lot of things, you know, I've opened my mind up more, and I'm not so critical of people now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still on that. I don't do a lot of excuses, you know.
Right.
But in terms of, you know, giving people more grace and understanding how essential that is, understand that people come from different backgrounds. People may not have the same upbringing. People may not have had the same experiences, you know. And that's why, like on social media, especially when we travel, our travel is like an open book. Like we want to share our experience because we do understand that somebody may not ever experience some of the stuff that we're experiencing. Right. I had a dude to tell me, man, I really appreciate you sharing all the videos and pictures. He said, man, I felt like I was there on every turn. I felt like I was right there. And I started doing that. I started doing it back in probably in the late 90s when we started taking our kids on cruises. I started doing it then, started trying to document it. The late 90s, early 2000s, started really trying to document the trips. And it was really at first for our own, you know, so we can look back at the memories. And then I started thinking about, man, there's a lot of people probably never ever get a chance to experience some of this stuff. Let me just share.
When I was on my health journey some years ago that I need to pick back on, but when I was walking every day 5 miles and you know going live doing all this stuff, I seen a dude that you know I know he was on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We was friends on Facebook, but we never did kind of like interact. And I saw him in the store one time. He was like, "Bro, you saved my life." I said, "What?" He said, man, the doctor told me, man, if I don't get myself together, go and get yourself together, because if you don't, you're going to be out of here. And he said he started watching my videos, man. He said he started walking, you know, eating better and all that. I was like, wow. So you just don't never know, man, who watching.
Ms. Gwen said, I'm non-confrontational too. Choose peace over conflict. I acknowledge fear from past traumas and abuse. Yeah, so, you know, I think having these hard conversations can truly expose a person's real love for you. But you got to be willing to engage in those hard conversations, be open to those hard conversations, be non-judgmental in those conversations, and want to grow and repair the relationships and grow from them, and not just, you know, hold or weaponize whatever information that they share with you. Hold it, especially when they're being vulnerable and sharing vulnerable information, that you don't weaponize information.
But one of the things I learned when I was working at Walmart, my district manager, when he first started doing it, it would kind of threw me off because I never used that terminology like that. And when something would go wrong at the store or in my department or whatever, he said, "Lavelle, I need to talk to you. We have an opportunity." What? And when I started understanding it better and getting the concept of what he had, he never used the word problem. He always said we have an opportunity. And I think if we really look at, you know, some of these conversations that we have with our loved ones, whether it be, you know, work, family, church, whatever case may be, when we look at it as an opportunity, then hopefully something can come out of that we can grow from. But I think a lot of times we always look at it as confrontational versus opportunity. That sounds like a good one right there.
Yeah. Richard Horner said, people often live vicariously through our experiences. What we go through is always for others' benefit more so than for us as individuals. I agree with that.
What's going on, Mr. Richard? I hate I get to see you this holiday, bro. I've been going on 11 years strong with him at Levi Elementary, you know, with the children reading the books and stuff for Christmas. And I couldn't go this year because Don was going through with an eye situation. But I'll be back next year, Doc.
Yeah. So thank you guys, man, for tuning in today, sharing in with us on this conversation, man. We can continue this conversation over in our 2 Men That Has community group. If you guys like, we can continue the conversation over there. But we definitely appreciate you guys joining in with us. Tomorrow, man, we're gonna talk a little bit about our New Year's, man, and why we don't stick to what what we say, man.
Mhm.
You know, Clarence said you and Monica have had some real hard conversations with me, and it only helped me. Good.
There you go.
Miss Gwen said, great advice for how to have healthy, hard conversations. Excellent topic today. Please send me the PowerPoint. Absolutely, Miss Gwen. No, matter of fact, let me do it right now while I'm thinking about it.
Right.
So let me be transparent again.
Okay.
My time has been totally thrown off, y'all, since we've been back. When I tell you I'm so confused with the time, I'm confused. The time has been I've been thrown off. And I don't even know how to get back on target. Me and Monica up, and then I'm up. She sleep for an hour. She back up. Like we just been through that 13-hour time difference and the jet lag and all of that has really thrown us off. Really and truly. And I don't even know how to I really just don't know how to get back on track other than I'm gonna try to just stay up. Just stay up all day and then try to go to sleep. You know, I don't know.
Y'all gonna probably have to get out the house because it's gonna probably only be more tempting to lay down because you're at home.
Well, so we got home early Sunday morning by the time we really got in the house, got in the bed, because I went and got Pepper from my mama's house at 1:00 in the morning. My mom said, y'all, she said, and she knew y'all was out there too, because she was, so I went and got my baby. And by the time we really got home and got situated, it was 2:30, you know, maybe, yeah. And by the time we went to sleep, well, I don't even know if Monica went to sleep then. I went to sleep. I didn't wake back up Sunday morning till after 10, because I said, let me wake up and look at our church service. And I looked up, shit, it was the church service was going off. And so I said, well, let me go back to sleep. And then I woke up again. It was about 1:00, you know. So it's just, we just thought, because we used to sleeping during that time there.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking the same thing, Ms. Gwen.
Yep. She said, ChatGPT. I'm just got to stay up, man. Stay up and maybe go out and build something. Go build something or something. That's the whole thing I can see. Yeah. But all right. That's all I have for y'all.
You want was you gonna clock the tea with Queen Walkers?
You got the tea? I ain't see it.
I thought you put it in there. I thought you did.
Ain't got no tea.
Oh.
I ain't seen no tea.
I thought it was one.
Bong said, I've been up since yesterday. Nah, we ain't got no tea. All right, don't pray us out, brother.
Just staring, looking at the walls.
Man, staring, looking at the wall. Facebook.
Yeah. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it, bro. We're gonna have to have you on one time because you ironically, you know, we were just saying about Miss Gwen working in the school system, and you are actually a guidance counselor in an elementary school, where I really think it matters where it starts at, and especially being in the neighborhood that you're in over there in Westwood area. It's a lot of trauma, a lot of children going through things, and I know they got to be a tall task to deal with those children. So
yeah, I gotta get my sister on here too, man. Miss Felicia Poston Strickland. Got to get her on, man. She a principal, and so I told her we're gonna have to get her on too, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, man, come prayers out, brother.
All right, most definitely. Most gracious Eternal God, our Father, Lord God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this time. Thank you for just waking us up this morning, giving us our right mind and clothing us in our right mind and giving us the activities of our limbs. Thank you for our family and our loved ones. Thank you for allowing Tony and the Golden Girls to get back safely and giving them a great time while they was there. Continue to touch our efforts. Continue to touch Tony family, my family, Miss Queen family, and everybody that's represented. And we actually do all these things in our Son Jesus' name, and we said amen.
Amen, man. We will see you guys tomorrow, same bat time.
Same bat place.
2 Men in Hats.
Let's talk.
The Too Many Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats podcast.